Welcome back to Sonic the Hedgehog reads Chapter 7 of The Walking Dead Hope. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Now let's continue where we left off. You're just saying that, he muttered. I'm not, she said, rolling her eyes. After a moment of silence, an idea occurred to her. And I can prove it, she added, smiling. How's that? Without saying a word, Clementine reached up for Louis's right hand and took it to hers. She felt the warmth that overcame her whenever she was with him, and she smiled. Clem guided his hand downward, eventually placing it on her abdomen. Her belly had begun to swell slightly, a small bump forming. She saw Louis's eyes opening wide. Is that? It is, she confirmed, chuckling. This is your baby, Louis. Our baby. Never think that you're not loved and appreciated by all of us. By Louis Jr., she added reluctantly, making Louis gasp. She feigned a shudder at the name. You used that? You used the name? He whispered, grinning smugly. I was making a point, she argued, rolling her eyes. You're the love of my life, Louis. I just hope that you realize just how much that means. He looked down at her, tears threatening to fill his eyes, and smiled. His thumb drew circles on Clementine's belly, making her skin shiver. He could feel his baby's presence in there. Doubt still clouded his mind, but thoughts of his baby and Clementine slowly replaced them, a familiar warmth filling his body. I love you, babe, he said, kissing the tip of her nose. And I love you, baby, he added, wiggling down so he could be close to the bump in her stomach. Clementine watched as he caressed her belly, tears filling her amber eyes. I'm going to take care of you, both of you, he continued. I'll look after you with every inch of me being. I'll give my life for you if I have to, he whispered, looking up into the loving gaze of his wife. That was, she started chuckling, that was beautiful. You're beautiful, he countered with a smile. He leaned forward, closing the breach between their lips. His hands cupped her face, deepening the kiss as Clementine arched forward. He began planting soft kisses on her neck, making Clem sigh. I love you, Clementine, he whispered, his hands rubbing her back. At the break of dawn, Clementine found herself at the gate of Ridgemont. She had a bow Javi had given her in her hand. In her hand, a small leather quiver strapped to her back. Due to her already swelling stomach, she opted to wear a baggier shirt over the usual tank top. It was still too early to tell people. Gabe was waiting for her there. A heavy assault rifle hung over the shoulder. The guards took her coming as a signal and started opening the gates for them. You're late, said Gabe when she caught up to him. Yeah, sorry about that, she said, blushing. I got caught up. Don't worry about it, he dismissed it. Leading her out of the community and into the streets of the dilapidated town. Broken cars littered the streets, most of their doors and hoods corroded out after years of disrepair. The rising sun cast elongated shadows on the pair, making them seem larger than they were. After 20 minutes of walking in silence, they got to the edge of a forest where most of their hunting was done. A fence divided the ground with the small wooden gate on the edge. Gabe opened the gate for Clementine, closing it behind them as they ventured into the wilderness. Clem held the bow firmly in front of her in search of a wildlife while Gabe scanned the perimeter. As the wind picked up, trees' leaves rustled overhead. Gabriel made a point to single out spots he'd already visited previously, so as not to overhunt. We make a pretty good team, he commented, as they stepped over a fallen tree 2 times their width. We do, don't we? She agreed, offering Gabe a small smile. When they heard a twig snap ahead of them, Clem pressed her finger to her lips. Up ahead, 40 feet, she whispered. drawing an arrow on her bow and creeping forward. She was careful not to step over fallen leaves, scanning the tree line for movement. A blur of brown caught her attention on her left. On a tree branch, about 8 feet off the ground, was a squirrel, its tiny hands grasping a nut. She aimed her weapon at the animal, taking a deep breath before releasing the arrow. The metal tip pierced the squirrel's neck, blood spurting from the wound. The pair raced forward, examining their first kill. "Not bad," said Gabe, nodding and fastening the tiny animal to his belt. "Thanks." They kept the same routine after that. While Gabe checked for threats around them, Clementine's keen eyes scoured the ground and trees for me to bring back home. Every now and then they would find mushroom or berries that Eleanor had given them the all clear to collect. 2 hours later, they had attained a total of 7 squirrels and 10 sizable sparrows. Around noon, they arrived at a clearing they deemed worthy of a lunch break. Gabe set his rifle against the trunk, exchanging it from an apple they brought for nourishment. Clementine did the same. "Good hunting today," he complimented through a mouthful of apple, making Clementine chuckle. "Thanks," she said, nodding, "and thank you for having my back." "My pleasure," he assured her. They ate in silence after that, basking in the peacefulness of nature. Birds chirped from the trees, a mellow song of their composition. The wind had subsided by the point, replacing by the sweltering heat of mid-spring. Sweat clung to Clem's forehead, her curly hair sticking to her skin. She took off her hat, placing it neatly on the trunk she sat on, and swiped the droplets with her sleeve. "It's way too hot today. I need to tell you something." They spoke in unison, neither saying anything for a few months after that. Clementine raised an eyebrow, biting into what was left of her apple. "Sure, what is it?" He stuttered, searching for words that wouldn't come. "Remember when we met?" Taken aback the question, Clementine nodded slowly. "Yeah, when I helped Jobby save your butt back at that junkyard," she teased, making a man chuckle. "Exactly," he said. "Well, I don't know if you knew this, but I had a major crush on you at the time." And this is where we'll stop for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3 of Sonic the Hedgehog Reads, Chapter 7 of The Walking Dead: Hope.